Hello, um, welcome. Thanks for joining one more Grassroots in Touch initiative by 45B. So we're aiming to network between grassroots communities in Cardano, and I'm going to be jumping in to adding Sebastian on stage. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey, Pedro Lucas. How's it going? It's good to see you here.
Good, yeah. Just experimenting a bit. We were talking backstage, and I could tell that where I'm still juggling a number of things, and you can see my windows when I was just sharing my screen. You have like this posture where you're very much at ease with this kind of live events and sharing. You do this very often, right?
Yeah, we have been doing this for more than 4 years already, every week. So I know your pain. I've been there. But I'm very happy to be with you here live. I didn't know that was live actually. I saw the link and I was like, okay, this is StreamYard. I know the software, so I will probably have to face the audience over there. But overall, I'm very happy to share my experience and hopefully it's valuable for people listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been recurring. We've had a lot of people come over, and ideally, we're looking for people that want to stay in touch, that want to help hands-on with a number of small initiatives that we're starting to identify. But even if you can't do that, it would be great to have you have a look and review what we're doing from time to time to give us input. So again, thank you so much for joining.
Happy to be here.
Cool. We also have someone that I don't recognize so far. So hello, do you mind saying hi?
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
I'm curious where you're from and how can we call you?
What's from Goma. The name is Laren Nabintu. I'm from Goma.
Lorraine.
Laren, the queen.
Laren. Oh, yes. Okay, I recognize the name. Now I remember. Cool. Welcome. There's a lot of people from Goma that have attended our calls already. I imagine you're relating with Boaz and other people there.
I doesn't know.
No, you don't know Boaz?
Boaz is from Goma, but
can you tell us a bit what communities or what groups you're interacting with? How did you find out about the call?
It's 14.
Could you say again?
14 minutes. It's 14 minutes.
Okay. I'm not sure what do you mean, but again, it's great to have you here and jump in anytime if you have any thoughts about what we're talking about, okay? Sometimes we try to translate to French. Today, maybe we won't do that, but if you have trouble understanding anything, just let us know, okay?
Okay.
Cool. I'm also going to introduce Alex. Welcome, Alex.
Hello.
Hey, could you tell us a bit about yourself and Grassroots, how you're interacting with the grassroots communities?
Are you recording?
You were streaming live to YouTube.
Oh, then I cannot tell you about myself.
Okay. No worries.
I'm afraid where it's gonna go. You know.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to interfere with that. You're very welcome to be here and voice your thoughts on whatever we're discussing at any time, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Still on the introductions, we have Boaz joining. He just joined the call. I'm not sure if he can say hi, but I'm just going to leave him up so that he can jump in anytime. And I think that's it for now. Okay, so we've had a number of calls already. I'm going to try to find this way of showing things. Yeah, there we go. I was DMing with someone recently to try to invite them to come over to the call, and I was motivated to do this kind of TLDR, and so that was the tweet for this week. And in terms of introducing us very, very briefly in today's call, I'm just going to go over this. So we're motivated by a bottom-up approach. We started doing a lot of stuff in Cardano well before the community hubs, so we don't want to define us by opposition to it. But I think it helps paint the picture where community hubs is really just trying to assign hub managers. We want to basically find them where they already are, the communities that are on the ground, and then nurture and network between them to share efforts where possible. Like we're doing right now on the call, reaching out to communities around the globe, hosting these recurring calls where any community can come and present themselves briefly. For example, some communities already did, but maybe we want to have further calls to have a better capture of what they do, and discuss basically a number of topics like how to engage their members, how to get funded or financially sustainable. Hosting calls, for example, Seba is there to share a bit of knowledge with me, and I'm here to share a bit of knowledge with anyone else who wants. So that's pay it forward type of mentality that we want to instill on Cardano people a bit more. And also there's a lot that can be done in this regard, although it's hard to have multilingual calls, but we could do a number of things asynchronously or on to propagate what we learn and what we gather to other languages. So far, we've done this survey, this symbolic survey, to gauge how hard it is to host mid-size events around the globe. Where it's something that we could develop further. We're working to gather data. So currently, we have only a very small number of communities that we've started putting in here, but the goal is to continue to enrich this data set all the way to the point where it can be an actual map with all the pins. And that technology has already started being developed by Ada Solar. So that's one initiative that we're doing. And, overall, that's what we're doing here. Getting together and debating how we can help each other. Any questions from anyone so far? Okay, cool. And so because today we have Seba, and I'm not sure how often he's going to be able to join, I'm gonna pass the floor to him to tell us a bit more about what he's been doing in Cardano and the communities that he's articulating with. While we talk, I'm also going to be making notes on this Miro board, which is the main thing for recording what we've been doing. But I also wanted to make use of the time to tell you that, like I was saying before, it's very important that anyone that has time to lend, to offer to this initiative, joins our Discord. And here we have someone that was just joining today saying he can't make the call because it's really, really early for him, but he's going to try to contribute. And we have this forum channel here where we're trying to amplify each other's posts. We're trying to overall articulate and promote the events between each other. And another thing that we've started doing is create a channel here for data gathering. So this is where we could start, feeding more data into this Excel sheet that's going to go into a map. So with all that orientation out of the way, just to close, all the links are on the Luma page. So far, this is the main aggregator of all the links for these initiatives. And we keep sharing this in our Twitter. So I hope that leaves everything at your reach throughout these resources. So yeah, Seba, can you tell us a bit more about what you do and the communities you've been articulating with?
Okay, thanks, Lucas. Well, my name is Sebastian. For those who haven't known me, I've been in the Cardano community for several years already, more than 5, I would say. Maybe I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience and my journey, and maybe that can inspire or give some ideas how to basically interact with this new wave of creating communities. I think Web3, blockchain, and decentralized movements are a new thing. I like to quote my partner in business, like, we are reading the future in Braille. So we're co-creating this in a way that we don't know where we're gonna end. We have some ideas. We have very, very different ideas. It's a diverse ecosystem. So everyone who has the spark or this idea that they might be valuable for their communities using this technology, please do however you want to do it. I think that is a very important message to this kind of calls. Like, sometimes you got caught by some idea about how to use blockchain, how to use cryptocurrencies, and whatever idea you're having, I think is valuable. It doesn't have to align with my, in this case, in my journey in the cryptocurrency environment, or my way of doing things. But of course, if I can inspire or give ideas about my journey, you can take it and use it as you want. So I'm an architect as a profession. I was working in the municipality 6 years ago. Well, I did it for 7 years, but when I knew about Bitcoin and Cardano, I was working for the municipality. I was dealing with a lot of bureaucracy issues. So I was moving papers from here to there, trying to get the signatures from the directors and the different departments who were dealing with these budgets and projects. And at the same time, I was basically developing a music online academy with a musician friend of mine. And I was like trying to look at different payment methods. So watching YouTube videos for tutorials to put my website live. I discovered Bitcoin. Of course, I got interested for many reasons that we're not discussing here. And at the same time, I got taught about Cardano. I remember knowing Felipe Huicochea. Is a Mexican guy who lives in the US. He has a YouTube channel. It's called Criptomonedas TV. It's for the Spanish speaker community. And he's basically doing podcasts every day, answering questions. It's an AMA sessions about cryptocurrency, finance, and different topics. So he was the first person that mentions Cardano. And when I hear this idea of decentralized smart contract possibility, it was like, okay, this can solve my problems that I had at that time trying to dealing with the contracts in the municipality of my country. I'm from Chile, by the way. Now living close to you, Lucas, here in Portugal, has been a journey. And so when I realized that there was this technology emerging that can solve that kind of problems, I thought, okay, I'm gonna dig in. I went into the rabbit hole, as I said. So I started to learn. I started to, of course, invest in the technology, creating the wallets. And then, of course, the first thing I realized that was missing in the ecosystem was tutorial for Spanish speaker users. So there wasn't many tutorials how to open your wallet, how to store your seeds, for example, how to use DeFi when the DeFi ecosystem start to appear, and so on. So I basically start creating YouTube videos for Spanish speaker community, and I was lucky because I started the channel just before the last bull market. So I kind of surfed that wave. I was like super exciting, a lot of new joiners. So we make the channel grow very fast.
It was like 2021, 2020.
Yeah, 2020 was the first videos of the channel.
Okay.
So it was super exciting. So we create in that bull room a huge community. Our channel today is 12K subscribers, which for the Spanish speaker is a lot. I mean, but then of course we rode that wave, and then we live the bear market. Like all these years, like we didn't grow so much. We didn't find the ways to create more audience, to get to new users. But I think there is where we learn the most, because what we built is the strength of the community we built in the bull market. So people join, just for the fun, I would say, of the bull market or for the gains. But then you have to work to strengthen that community. And we did it basically through podcasts. We do podcasts every week. I think consistency is the key here. We haven't missed any week, I think, in this 4 years. I think maybe 1 week we miss. We do 2 episodes a week. I think sometimes we miss one of them, but I think just 1 week in this whole time we missed the 2 episodes. So I think consistency is the key, and also be very close with the community. We have a WhatsApp, a Discord channel, the Telegram, as you do with your community as well. I think that is super important. So anyone who has any idea, question, or something they want to share, they have a group of people basically wanted to read or to give feedback to their ideas. I think that is very important. And so after all those years, I joined the ambassador program that was running from CF, the Cardano Foundation. So I was while I was creating content, I joined the ambassador program. I was an ambassador for more than 2 years. And then I moved here to Portugal for different personal reasons, nothing related to cryptocurrencies or anything like that. So I just moved here. I thought, okay, maybe I need a new start. So I started to looking for jobs. I was working, after I left the municipality, I was working independently as a freelancer. But as I came here, I was like, okay. So I started to apply a few jobs. And one of them was a community manager for the Cardano Foundation, which is basically what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm working for the community team in the Cardano Foundation and focusing specifically in the ambassador program. So having all this knowledge, being an ambassador for 2 years, now I'm the administrator or the manager. I don't like to call it the manager because we're trying to give the self-managing to the group. But of course, we need someone to admin all the tasks that are needed. So I'm the person at the moment. So I'm seeing...
For the ambassador program, you mean?
For the ambassador program.
Okay.
We can talk a little bit if you want, if you have time later, how that works. But basically, I told you about my experience with the Spanish speaker community, Latin community, or South American community, whatever you want to call it. We call it El Cardumen. In English is the shoal, which is a play of words, because cardumen sounds very similar to Cardano, and it means the shoal. So this group of fishes.
A group of fish, it's very similar in Portuguese.
So cardumen?
Cardumen, yeah.
Cardumen. Which is a playful word that we use for our community. And I think that finding that catchy concept to get people together is something that I will tell as my experience, some of the things that is very valuable, because from there you feel part of something. And I have to say, even when you dive, using the metaphor, when you dive into the Cardano's ocean, and mostly on X, you see the drama, you see all these shenanigans of the new governance model. I must say that within our own small part of the community, which is the Spanish speaker, our channels is the best channels I have ever. I mean, our WhatsApp is the most interesting, most respectful, more live channels that I'm part of. So I'm very happy with it. And I think all that journey that I just told before is the roots for that, what is happening now. So I think being present, being consistent, and also having some kind of catchy way to make people want to belong to your community is the key for success. It's not easy, it will take time. Sometimes people doesn't care about what is happening now in Cardano or blockchain in general. It has to be, or it has to deal with the market. That's no doubt. But you need to be smart. It's like waves comes and you need to surf the wave. And that's where you have the more chances to build your community, and then you have to strengthen it and make it consistent for the next cycle, and so on, so on, so on. So that's a little bit of a brief of my experience in Cardano.
That's a lot. That's a journey that you're sharing with us here. So let me see if I got this. Like overall, just this is the section of our board where we try to gather some topics on someone on everyone that comes by. And yeah, it's not complete for sure, but so helping and building a new kind of communities in Web3, background in architecture, right, and municipalities. Started by creating educational videos in 2020. Joined for the gain, stay for the community is something that I think it's quite a motto that we can use. Here, I wanted to ask you about the episodes and everything. If you can share a link with me, maybe on Telegram, and I can add it to the board. Eventually, like I said, if you join our Discord, we're very happy to share the editable link for the Miro board, but I'm not going to share it right on the call right now. And also, yeah, I added here, you were a CF ambassador. Now you're managing the community. You're a community manager for CF on the ambassador program. Is this how we spell it? Cardumen? Or yeah, I got it. Yeah, cool. And so just to be very to double click a bit on and be more specific about the LATAM initiatives and communities, I literally have a map here that I added to the board, and I wanted to ask you to give me some names, like who's doing what where. Can we do that part?
Of course, it's a great question because I think it is one of the most misunderstood concept when we talk about LATAM, and I've been having this conversation a lot. So first of all, LATAM is huge. It's a huge region, and mostly when you see it from a European perspective, it's like people talk about LATAM as just one thing, and South America is way different. I'm a very lucky person. I've been in every country in LATAM except for one of the Guayanas. So sorry?
One of the what?
I have been in every country in South America except for one of the Guayanas.
What? I don't understand that last word. I'm sorry.
Guayanas, if you go up and right on the map, you will see there's 3 countries there. So it's the Guyana.
Guyana. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Guyana.
Sorry, my English.
Maybe I'm not sure how to pronounce it in English either. But now
Suriname and the French Guiana. So that's countries that we didn't go there. So okay. I'm very aware about the diversity of cultural languages. You have Brazil there, and so in Cardano, of course, the community is that diverse too. There's a huge initiatives. I would say one of the main ones is the LATAM with caps, like LATAM Cardano community.
Yeah,
that has been in the community for, maybe I'm wrong, but I think 3 or 4 years probably. Then you have people in Argentina. We have ambassadors.
Sorry,
for
but
example.
This one is overall, right? So we can just place overall. It right here. So it encompasses a number of cards.
Yeah, big presence in Argentina, big presence in Uruguay, in Paraguay, Brazil as well. In Colombia, I think they have a good presence. Venezuela, they have been reborn a few months or 1 year ago. There's a few ambassadors that they work very hard in that community, and I'm thinking about Mauro, Lucas, Jose, Yadichico, and maybe I'm forgetting someone from Brazil, also Otavio. Jose de Gamboa, and many others. Then you have, if we're talking about groups, you have the Cardano Confederation, which is another group of people interested to create a diverse community in South America. They run for the ICC election. They weren't part of the 7 selected, but they run for the ICC. I don't know if they're going to run this election again. I haven't talked with them in the last weeks. And who else? And then if we go up the map, now we have Mexico, which is part of the Spanish-speaker community. Sometimes people put it.
I don't have the map. I don't have Mexico here, but
example,
let's put it there.
Yeah, for example, that is one thing I was saying before, is like this Latin concept is a bit misunderstood
Broad.
sometimes. Broad, exactly.
It has to do with the language as well, no?
It has to do with the language, but then you have Brazil, so you think, okay, are they part of the LATAM or not? When you say LATAM, became from Latin.
It's Latino. It's still
It's
Latin.
Latino,
Yeah.
but then the Latinos, you might want to include the Italians or even the Portuguese as part of that route. So I don't want to go that deep, but I like to call it like the Spanish Portuguese speaker community. I think we have a lot of things in common, even with people in Spain. We have a lot of people from Spain in our community, and they feel very connected with that.
You have Jose running Sala de Cafe on all the Catalyst town hall, after town hall rooms. Yeah.
Then you have some stake pool operators. There was, I don't know if he's still creating content, Latin stake pools. You have people in Colombia, the pool Latin, it's a ticker, Latin stake pool. ITSA. Well, we run a pool in our community which is Chill with one L. And there's new communities growing in Bolivia and Peru, small groups that they're growing. And now Mexico. Mexico is a huge country. They have two events next week. I want to also highlight that because I think it's a good way to start to spark that community. I'm gonna share here. I don't know if I can share my screen, Lucas?
Sure. I think you can. Can you see the controls to do that?
Yes, I do. Share screen.
Okay.
And I'm gonna share this tab. Oh no, I cannot share the windows. I think yeah, I sent it. So I'm traveling next week to Mexico, and I know many of the LATAM community will be there as well on the 27th and the 28th.
So you sent it on the chat.
I think you have to click down.
Yes.
So you put it.
1 second.
Up the screen.
I thought you were going to share yourself, your screen, but
I did.
I'm getting it.
I did.
I have to put it up. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now good.
So this is the event. I shared the link here in the chat. So it's azteca.cardano Mexico community.
I'm actually going to send it to the comments tab that we see, which is going to send it to YouTube comments and not comments on the chat on YouTube, so that people can click on it if they want. Sorry, go on.
Amazing. So there are going to be two events in different universities in Mexico. And I think Mexico, for example, which is a huge country with a lot of potential for blockchain and cryptocurrencies and for Cardano in specific, the community is a bit hidden. We don't know much about them until now. They're like, they're making some noise. They got some catalyst funding for these two events. They have been organizing this it's very neat. I got the brief last week and it looks amazing. Good venues in universities, which I think is something that is natural for Cardano. So if you want to make an event for Cardano and you have some kind of relationship with the universities, I think it's the perfect match. So I will encourage to anyone to, if you know someone in Mexico, they can join here or just help to spread the word. So as I said, LATAM is huge and there's a lot of things happening.
This point of there's something happening here, especially if it's an upcoming community, it's something that so far all we've tried to do is to have a channel on our Discord to make sure that, if around this grid initiative, the Cardano Grassroots in Touch initiative by 45B, everyone that's in our radar and that can keep an eye on things can go to that channel and share a tweet. Like, for example, now I can share this URL there, or if you have a tweet for their event or something like that, you can stay in our Discord, go there and share it, and everyone else could have a look, keep an eye there to retweet it and know about it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you on our Discord so far, or?
I do, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
Not
So,
very active because there's so many channels.
yeah.
But,
Can you tell me a bit what is your handle so I can tag you there?
so it's Individuo Digital in all the
Okay.
platforms. I use this nickname.
Seba, Individuo Digital. Got it.
That's the one.
Okay.
So, well, just as I'm sharing my screen, this is the
Yeah.
channel, and you can see some tips that I will give you.
Drop me that link as well if you have a landing page for something. If you have a landing page or the YouTube channel.
I have a landing page, but I don't have the link here. It's one of
Maybe you can.
those. But I put it here in the private chat on the right.
Yep.
So some things I think that are important when you're creating YouTube channels or whatever kind of content. I'm a content creator myself. I like photography, design, and videos. So I have a little experience on that as well. You need to put some love on what you do. It doesn't have to be like super technical, like top tier cameras or whatever, but audio is always something that is very important. You see here, this is a very cheap microphone, but it sounds well.
I do that too.
It's the same. It's like you need to do something like that. Take care of the SEO, so nice thumbnails or nice cards. Use the tags, use nice titles. So take care about the presence of your channel. We have been, for example, changing the graphics a little bit over time, so it's not always exactly the same. Of course, we use some tricks that you will find on YouTube, like how to get more engaging on your
No
your
panic
videos.
faces, please.
Well, if I scroll down, I have panic faces. So I'm guilty on that.
I'm kidding.
But okay, this is part of the idea, and of course use all the platforms. In my case, I use a lot of X, of course, Telegram, to share the what is happening. This is the slide for the event. We're gonna be in Mexico next week, and now we are here live.
Cool.
And yes, that's me.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to sharing, just so we can go over a bit what we've been doing in grids and discuss it and get your input on those kinds of things on our initiatives. So I'm just going to remove your screen and this, and again, then let me know if I should just use the YouTube channel or something like that to put it here. And I was also making a note of what you shared there on the map, let's say. Eventually, I haven't shown you before yet, but we're gonna have a look at the map that Ada Solar started developing, and eventually we could start having these kinds of pins around that kind of map and continue to enrich these communities and get in touch with them. What else? I've also, while we were talking, tagged you on our posts amplification channel in our Discord. And what I'm going to do eventually is, for the ones that have joined the main one, I'm going to create a Discord role, and try to be able to wrap everyone together with that role so that I can tag people whenever we want around the server. Are you okay with continuing to use Discord? I know sometimes people are a bit allergic, but it's the tool that we use for so many other things.
Yes.
Do you guys use Discord, or do you guys use other things in El Cardumen?
We have a Discord channel for El Cardumen. It's not the most active. The most active channels is always the YouTube channel and the WhatsApp, and a little bit the Discord. And I'm using Discord myself. So yeah.
Okay. Having some technical problems here. I'm gonna just switch to one screen for a second. I'm gonna have to unplug. 1 second.
All right.
Can you still hear me? Hello?
Yeah, now we can hear you. There was like a weird noise, but now you're back.
Yeah, but my image is completely frozen.
You're moving, and you're gone. And we took over the 45B space with Alex. We are the guests, and we took over the call.
Seven.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, so he disappeared.
Where are you
Nice,
coming from,
nice.
Alex?
Russia.
From Russia.
Yeah,
Wow,
I live in
where about?
Vietnam. Like west, just in general.
Wow. I was in Russia many years ago in Moscow, but I just love the place. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice presentation. South America is something very interesting. I've been to Brazil once for a couple of months. It was amazing.
Wow, that's great.
I wanted to come back.
You went for holidays or for working?
I was traveling.
Oh, cool. We took over, Lucas.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Maybe you can continue exactly for a few minutes, guys. I had to log in again.
We're recording, so yeah.
Yeah, it's all going live. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm happy that it's not like Twitter where the space is rug and people get kicked out. So yeah, maybe it was a good that I had to jump off and you guys could freely talk, because sometimes I dive too much into Miro boards, and let's just have a conversation. Yeah, Alex, go on, please.
Yeah, I really liked that. Well, first, Seba's microphone was quite low volume, so I kind of dozed off a little bit. But I captured the last part, and the takeaway for me is like, oh, should really look into traveling in South America. Should be awesome.
Yeah, I think South America is one of the key territories or regions for the Cardano development in the next year. I think IO saw that well long ago, and that's why they're opening an office there. We have a bunch of good ambassadors over there. I would say in South America is the main region for the ambassadorship, because it's a good mix. It's a good mix of people need cryptocurrency, need blockchain. It's something that they find valuable, but we also have something happening technology-wise. So we have good access to internet, and people have devices in most of the places. Even in some poorest regions, people still have access to internet, which is something that you need to basically develop these kind of technologies for everyone. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So maybe let's jump back to some topics I had here. One thing that, Seba, maybe you could give us your insight on that we touched on last on previous calls, is that one thing is to onboard developers, the other thing is to onboard end users. So what I would love to say, only those are the actual community, the community of end users. But for me, the word community would appeal more to those kinds of people that are just users, real people, real world people from any line of business, not developers, that just use the Web3 applications, a bit like you were saying. And then the third part of the triangle would be the small and medium businesses, the project owners, and the entrepreneurs. So it's quite different, because you have developers on one side, then you have the end users, and you have the people that actually building or owning the projects. Often we talk about onboarding developers, for example, but a dev on its own, they can build, for example, I have one guy that built a gambling application, but he doesn't have the legality to take it live to production, right? So often developers are not the people that actually get things built, get things live. I mean, can you tell a bit, within your experience, who do you relate more with, and how do you see this triangle of players?
I think one thing that is happening is, as we are creating these communities within the communities, we were creating digital spaces where all these three peoples are gathering together and they get know to each other. Why I'm saying this? Because once you create a YouTube video for someone opening a wallet, they join to your channel, your Discord, and they read some good idea and they kind of connect. It's like, okay, I can develop that idea, I can use that idea, or I can sell that idea. And that's the three parts you mentioned. And I've seen that happen. I mean, in our group, business developers are met with developers, and they are now developing something with a sense of a product market fit. You know, it's not just a developer playing around and putting an application that no one uses. It's a collective effort of someone who wants to sell the product and someone who wants to develop it. So I think, and also something that is happening in Web3 is those three roles are a little bit mixed, because as it's a decentralized ecosystem, is very open for anyone to explore, and everyone who is not a developer, even if it's a hard road, everyone who is willing to develop can start from scratch and saying, okay, I can do something in Web3. Same for the business developers. Sometimes they came from a very Web2 mindset and they come into the Web3. And I have a call this morning with some of them, with two of business developer, and we were having these conversations like, we need more marketing in Cardano. And of course, we need more marketing in Cardano. But okay, how we do this marketing now in Cardano? Because we are not doing it in the same way that we used to do in Web 2. We need to figure out the best way to get people wanted to be involved, and not just a one-way direction where you have the business. If you have a model B2C, you have your business and you kind of direct information to your customer. Or even if you have a B2B, you have to connect with another business and then find your final or your end user. In this case, I see that it's a little bit of a mixture. So everyone is a bit a business developer, and also a user. So I think it's a more dynamic ecosystem. In that sense, I think every community will focus on their own, I would say, their own talent. So there are communities that are more focusing on business development, other in organizations, politics, and governance, other ones in developers. So I think there is a space for everyone. We need to create the bridges for those parts to connect, basically. Because in my experience, I've seen, for example, what happened a few weeks ago in Vietnam with the developer hackathon, the Builder Fest.
Yeah.
In Berlin, also there's a huge developer
Blockchain
community.
Week.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And for example, I know many of the ambassadors, they're business developer, and they're in connection with those developers, trying to figure out what is the connection point to create a product. And then you have the broader community where you have the final users, and we're missing something, that is users that they're not part in the community yet. How we get our message out there. Of course, as a diverse ecosystem, it's a bit chaotic, so everyone has different idea. We are now having a framework, which is the governance model we're experimenting with. And even if sometimes from outside looks very messy, I think is one of the greatest inventions in humanity, and we'll see that in the future. We are in the first iteration. So I'm seeing that governance model also as a place where everyone wants to put their opinion from the developer side, from the business development, and from the end user as well. So, well, I did a bit of a rambling there, but overall, I think that is Web3.
That's very insightful, and thanks for taking us to take the tour around all that. If you have a bit of time later, if you want to access our Miro board, I dropped this here, and it's something that, like I said, this triology, or this all these dimensions here between a lot of us. We are developers, but we're not users of things, and 45B, for example, is more focused on reaching out to new users. That's why I resonate a lot with that. But also there's this part here that that you touched on that needs marketing, but it's tricky because again, trying to see it from the point of view of communities, you don't want to be chilling projects. So as a community facilitator, which is the core for these calls here, we're trying to gather yourself and Alex and everyone that's out there in Goma or in anywhere, to exchange ideas about how to reach out to people. But for example, now next week I'm going to do some presentation about what is Web3, how can you build it. I'm going to be presenting to Nomad founders. I don't want to go there and chill DeFi products or something like that. So that's why I usually run away from financial use cases and focus more on book.io or things that are a bit more real world use case type of things. Do you feel this when you're talking? I know that you guys also cover a bit price and even technical analysis or something, no?
Yes, we do it for the audience, let's say. We know that as they're putting the graph or the charts in the screen is something that people enjoy and get engagement from that, so we use that. Not a problem. We try to be very objective and not chilling the price, but also something that I missed that I'm not, it pops to my mind. It needs to be entertaining somehow. I mean, we're sometimes diving in a very hard topics, very complex topics, and for getting people on board, like new users, we need that ecosystem to be entertaining, like to be fun, to be part of it. It was fun when I joined. Now sometimes I tell people who is in the ecosystem for a while, we got experts on the field over the years. Even if you don't want to, if you have been here for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you are an expert on the field. You are an OG. So you talk sometimes in a very complex way. We talk about the staking, the DeFi protocols, the key parameter or whatever. But then you forgot the people who is outside, like they want to have fun in blockchain. They want to have fun in Web3, as they did in Web2.
Yeah, but for example, I'm thinking of here, do we have snack.fun, which is similar to pump.fun, and that's sort of, it teaches people how things work. But I would like to think that before they get to use that, they have some financial literacy about supply and demand, or maybe it's there that they're gonna get it. What is tricky is, I think we always need to give them some literacy so that they don't put their life savings into a snack.fun token, for example. Right. So I don't think they could do that unless it gets properly listed in some dexes or something anyway. But what I'm trying to say is that when I try to onboard people, the roadmap is a bit of a hands-on approach. So install a wallet and play with some sats or some Lovelace or some ADA, even if on the test net. And we literally used to do this on Cardano for non-technical people. People went to the faucet, they got some test ADA, we sent it back and forth, exactly so that there's no stigma of, okay, this is real money that I'm sending. So if it's test ADA, just play with it. And so, yeah, I think there needs to be some financial literacy. So hands-on approach, financial literacy, and then financial literacy maybe alongside the Web3 use cases. And only after understanding a bit of both of those could you be, okay, putting your savings or invest, swing trading or whatever. Fundamentals, for example, we should talk a bit about those. But yeah, so this is my conversation because of I'm focusing more on end users. Usually when we're going on to Cardano Summit side event or something like that, what you hear about is more about the technicalities. So I'm not even saying proof of work versus proof of stake. I'm more talking about layer 2s and zero knowledge proofs and that kind of stuff. And so that's why, from our point of view, we're trying to create spaces where things are more focused on this. And that's why it's going to be very interesting for me next week with the Nomad founders. I feel like Yeah, when we or almost all the Cardano events so far have been Cardano echo bubble events, and not so much like events of Cardano reaching out to end users. You know, that's what I would like to do more, and that's why even when I'm talking about helping grassroots communities and etc., this is a bit of what I want to share with them. You know, to make sure that, especially because we have a lot of people that go to events that they're not developers. No, I have some friends here that are focused on governance. For example, we had Nuno on the last call from BrightGov, and do you think? What do you think about this? You agree or?
I partially agree, but I saw, for example, my fair experience in a summit was last year's summit in Dubai as a part of the CF team. So I was like aware about also the production of the event, and I think it was very focused on business development, and there was like a huge event. It's like I didn't expect like as big and with that kind of connection.
When you say that, was it like empowering these people that are project owners to do their own biz dev and all that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also how you focus it. It wasn't like, of course, you had some workshops and some very technical conversation, but we had a lot of like open conversations about how to get this project outside, basically. What tools or what use cases we need, and how to connect these people that might be interested in using blockchain. So I think, of course, it's not perfect. Everything is a working process, but I think, for example, from my experience in CF, we're very focusing on that, and I've seen like huge improvement in that sense. But I think you're right. We're missing that part of the triangle.
I think in this around this section of the map here, to say that to just market Cardano is a bit too vague. You know, this is my point of view. Is like, if you're approaching users and you just say use Cardano like as a whole, people say, okay, it's a bit like almost Bitcoin. It's just money and that's it. So you need to market project owners. You need to have a showcase of projects that you trust, and even though, because you can't trust all of them, you need to again gift the people you're onboarding with the judgment to do their own research, and do you agree with this as well, or Alex as well? Do you want? And I'm also going to add everyone on stage, because we're coming to the closing thoughts of today's call. So I'm going to add Nana and Boaz, and we've had Kevin for a while. I'm sorry we didn't get to add them, but just closing thoughts on today's call. Who wants to jump in?
I can jump in, or you can just let others go ahead if they prefer.
Go for it.
It's a really interesting conversation. To me, it's like one question that arises for me is like, is mission and vision of Cardano still relevant in the current world? Like with the questions that you were discussing, And the second point is kind of when we talk about Cardano users and governance, and who is a Cardano user actually? And so that's my closing thoughts.
Yeah. Anyone else? Nana, welcome. Not sure if you can say hi, Boaz.
Hello, guys. Thanks for today. I've been background, but I appreciated presentations, particularly that from Seba. I was waiting that he says there are some sessions that will be ongoing in Africa so that I may raise my hand. Unfortunately, this was only for LATAM if I followed very well, but this is a good example. Maybe we have to follow in other areas through the world. We have something that it's regular for us here in Goma. Lucas knows about that already. It's about a program where we onboard young people. Among them, we have developers, students, entrepreneurs, businessmen, and other kind of sectors. So in that program, we try to onboard people on blockchain and Web3, showing them that it's possible to resolve some social problems with the blockchain technology. Yeah, we know that blockchain can't resolve all our problems, but some technological identity and other things, it's possible that blockchain resolves them. Thank you.
It's a matter of identifying the right use cases to grow, right?
Yeah, right.
Boaz?
Hey,
Hey,
yeah.
any thoughts on this triangle that we were talking about?
Not for the moment. It has been mathematical, a little bit mathematical for me. So I don't have something
Okay.
to add for the moment. I try to understand.
Okay. So basically, we're just going over when you are onboarding or the people that we articulate with currently in Cardano. Sometimes we are talking about onboarding, and it's vague whether you're onboarding developers or you're onboarding users. And I also wanted to create another dimension here in terms of, even if you're onboarding a lot of developers, but the developers are not project owners that can take a project live and launch it and market it, you're not going to get very far with just the developers. So you need the people that actually going to be able to launch the project, to do the biz dev, and to own the project. So that's the wrap up that I can share, just to recap you on this part. Yeah, overall, there was a lot of stuff that I had on my notes, but we touched basically on this part here. And I think what Boaz and what Nana was saying just now, even like imagine things that Seba is doing and covering in Spanish, to get them in our view in this initiative, for example, some artifact or some diagram or some piece or some clip that Seba puts together on some topic. We could maybe translate it to English and then translate it from there to French so that it can be used in Goma. So that's, I think, one of the things that we could do on this initiative. But again, I'm going to plug that with, again, inviting you to be active in our Discord, and so that we can work asynchronously. Drop any ideas there. And Seba, if you ever have anything that you have that is a nice material that you have built in Spanish that you want to share with us, yeah, please use that space there to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
So as you can see, there was a lot of other stuff on my screen, but I'm gonna drop all of this into a Google Doc, and we can cherry pick for next sessions. Also here we have a number of ideas of what we can cover on future sessions. Today, for example, it was really fun to go over a bit of LATAM, and so that was there. So we covered a bit of this, and yeah, I'm happy with continuing to work in this sort of like diffusive, like the shooting in all directions manner. There's some things here from previous sessions. What I was saying is that I'm going to drop this and this into a Google Doc, and then we can start flagging things there as done or something like that. But overall, yeah, keep coming by, and maybe we can start having different format calls so that we don't do live streams on every week, and have a bit more of work sessions to build on things. Just to make sure I illustrate to everyone what I meant in terms of getting more things on the map, when I was doing that little draft on MyroBoard, this is the tool that Ada Solar started developing, where we are gathering data, so sorry, we're gathering data so we can put it into this tool eventually. And Mark also mentioned that he could put it into a Google Maps type of interface. So what matters is that we gather the data. And Sebastian, by the way, on that map, you see a lot of pins, which is actually some list of ambassadors that Ada Solar got somewhere. And so it's an example of how your work with the ambassador program is along with a number of other things that I have on our Google Sheet. So Catalyst Horizons is a nice report. The ambassadors is a nice way to get things. I'm also thinking of talking with the people that were or are going to continue to run the community hubs that were started by the MCC and Intersect. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do there to try to reach out. And the goal is to reach out to people and get them contributing to this a bit.
Amazing. Thank you, Lucas. I need to jump to another call.
We're gonna close as well.
And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Ciao, ciao.